Good morning and welcome. My name is John Mazzara with Remax Results, and today I have Karli Spahr with me with Fairway Mortgage, and she's going to talk to us all about renovation loans, products that are available that can help turn that maybe a dirty dog or that house that isn't quite right into the perfect home. She finances all types of loans all throughout the United States, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about herself here in just a second. Karli, please tell us who you are, how they can reach you, and what you do.
Sure. My name's Karli Spahr. I'm with Fairway Independent Mortgage, and I've been in the industry for 24 years with Fairway Independent Mortgage, who's been in the industry for 25 years or been open for 25 years. We are a large privately held mortgage company, which means we don't have shareholders. We are the shareholders, which is really cool. So what we do is we lend directly with HUD, VA, USDA, Fannie, Freddie, you name it. We do our own underwriting, processing everything's in-house. I have our own closing departments, and I have just over 10,000 employees, and hit a lot of top categories this past year in terms of purchase business. So we do a lot of purchase business. And in terms of renovation, what I'd love to talk to you guys about is just the way the market is right now. I think it's a great tool for people to give them more options because of the limited inventory. As far as reaching me, you can always call or text 651-888-8180. Email, John will put the exact spelling of it, but it's teamspar@fairwaymc.com.
Awesome. Excellent. Thanks, Karli. Now, with regards to renovation, I know sometimes when I'm out showing homes, we walk into a house and the kitchen's wrong or the bathroom's wrong, but the location's perfect. And or they want to finish a basement or they want to do a number of different things, but they don't have the money. They have enough to buy the home, but they don't have, and they're qualified for more. They just can't come up with the money after the fact to do the repairs. And they're like, well, I'd love it, but. And so the problem that I'm finding in the marketplace is that a lot of the consumers have no idea that there's a loan that will actually give them the money if they qualify to make repairs. And so they bypass products or their homes, I'm sorry, they bypass homes that could be made to be perfect. And oftentimes what I say is, you know what, it's your lender, meaning if the lender doesn't have the product, you're never going to hear about it. I can tell you about it, but hooking up with the right lender is so important because it's the arrows in the quiver or the tools in the toolbox. If you're only given a hammer, you can only do so much with it. If you're given a hammer, a saw, and everything else, you can do a lot more. So Karli, tell us a little bit about what a renovation loan is, how somebody can use it, and applications that you've seen, and how it covers the, how you cover the spectrum. You don't have just one tool in your toolbox for renovation. You have a multitude. So I'm going to be quiet and let you roll with it.
Sure. So for renovation, it comes in a variety of shapes and sizes. So we can do it with conventional financing, FHA financing, VA financing, even Minnesota housing down payment assistance financing. And the really cool thing about renovation, I think what scares people a little bit is they think that the seller has to accept that they're doing these repairs and let them do them before closing. And that is farthest from the truth. The really cool thing about this product or these products is that you can do the work after closing. So you buy the house, do the work after, and you don't necessarily have to worry about doubling up on rent and your house payment because you can't live in the property if you're doing some major renovations, because we can work that into your mortgage as well. The payments for so many months. So that's pretty nice way of doing things. You have up to 6 months to complete the repairs on most of the programs, and we can guide you through the entire process to get the work done. And it helps bring your offer a little closer to a cash or straight conventional offer because you aren't going to ask the seller very likely to do any of these repairs that you're finding on inspections, or if you don't do an inspection, whatever the case may be, because you're going to take on that responsibility after closing. So it gives the seller a little peace of mind. Uh, the beauty of one of these products too, FHA, in this market where we're seeing values not always catching up with the market, where people are paying a little more and more on properties. On a renovation, FHA, you can go up to 110% of the value. So you can finance some of that inequity into it. And the cool thing is, rather than straight financing where it might take you more time to get that equity back if you pay the difference of appraisal, you're building equity immediately by doing updates to the property. So maybe you're doing things as simple as replacing all the flooring, repainting. Maybe you're redoing a kitchen and bath, which are big ticket items, but bring big value to people. Maybe you're doing an addition. You love the location of this house. It's in the perfect neighborhood for your kids, the school, distance to work, whatever the case may be, but nothing's coming available that you can either afford or you can win an offer on. You can find one that maybe hasn't been taken care of as well. The sellers maybe didn't have the money to keep it up. Or it's just not the way you want it. You can make it the way you want it because it's where you want it. So you can just create the house you want in the place the house is.
Awesome. Now, if somebody got pre-approved, let's say for a regular loan, and then they find the home that needs it, is that going to be a difficulty getting another letter or a pre-approval or your ability to review?
No, so we can do a pre-approval letter and just state right on there that it's renovation. And I'm always happy to talk to listing agents and explain to them, like, look, this is not your average Joe, say government financing, for example, where they're skittish on the appraisals because don't worry about the work orders. We're going to take care of everything. So we just need the appraisal to get the value, to determine what the value is going to be when it's done and what it is today. So really it puts the buyer in a little more of the driver's seat than without that product.
Nice. So they don't have to switch lenders if they start with you.
Yep.
And get pre-approved for regular financing, and then all of a sudden they find that property that needs that renovation. All you'll do is just change the program, write the letter, and they're good to go. So they're not going to lose anything. Because today you have to react. If you see one, I mean, I sold one last night. We looked at it in the afternoon and we had it completed by the evening because, I mean, we didn't have any time. There were 6 people behind us. So that's nice that you have that ability to go seamlessly. Boom, boom. I start with you. I finish with you. It might be a different product, but you have that ability. Whereas if they were with a different lender, then they have to go find another lender, and they're going to lose that house.
Right. Exactly. And we underwrite all our own renovation products, so it's all in-house.
Is there a dollar amount that I should consider? Like if I'm going to spend up to 5, or if I'm going to spend up to 500, is there kind of a sweet spot or a range that you're typically seeing on these types of loans, or what I might want to consider using it?
Well, there is caps on conventional and FHA. So in the Twin Cities, conventional, you're capped at $548,250 for conventional. That's a loan amount. So you can spend more, put your 5% down, or whatever your down payment is off of what you're spending, as long as the loan doesn't exceed that. Now with FHA, it's 4025, I think is the exact numbers for the Twin Cities metro region. So you just have, the loan cannot exceed that. So generally that's a purchase price, if I'm doing the math, 417 and some change would be a purchase price. And now purchase price, just to back up the bus on renovation, is going to be whatever the price of the property is plus the cost of renovation. So say you get a bid for 30,000, for example, to do whatever renovations you want to do, and you're spending 300,000 on the house, your total purchase price or acquisition cost is 330,000, adding those two together.
Now, sometimes people will go to, let's say, a small bank and get a money to do, let's say, major work, and then they do the refi or takeout loan with another lender like yourself. But it sounds like if somebody, as long as it's under the caps, somebody could do it all in one, and there wouldn't have to be a 2-step. It could be a 1-step with an escrow. Would that be correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
It's all escrow work. So the work's completed, and we do generally monthly draws afterward. So as the work is completed, we're going to do an inspection. So we're going to protect you as a consumer, and we're going to go out there and make sure the work is done before anybody's paid for what they're asking for money for. So we're not going to pay somebody unless the work has been completed.
And how does it work with regards to rate? Like right now, where there's talk of inflation and rates going up. And so if I did a two-step, meaning I go to the small bank and then I do my work 6 months later, refinance, I'm coming in with a new loan at that time and rates may have moved. Am I protected on the rate on a renovation loan where I start with that rate and I finish with that rate?
Correct. So once it's just like a regular purchase. Once we say you get an accepted offer, we lock in the interest rate and you're locked in for the entire term of the loan. So if it's a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, that's it. You're locked in. It's never going to change. Where it's in your example, if you're doing construction financing and you need an end loan, you're not locking in that end loan until so many months before it's done. And with the way construction's been lately and the shortage of labor and materials, who knows how long that will be and where rates will be at the end of that. So yeah, so the beauty of it, it's locked in up front. Once you close, it's just the draw request that we're doing, but there's no other worries of rate changes or anything like that.
Or qualifying, not that, you'd lose your job or something, but let's say you were in the middle of your project and you lost your job and now you got a half home, half that's completed and you can't refinance to take it out and you're in trouble. Whereas if you do it with you right up the bat, the money's there. It's just a matter of the work getting done. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. So yeah, there was a lot of issues, surrounding COVID with people during construction. Renovation is not the case. Once you close, you're done.
Can I do a refi with this product or only on a purchase?
You can do a refinance as well. So if you have a home and say you're like, hey, I don't want to sell today. I want to maybe sell a year or two from now and I'm just going to make do with the way things are now. I know I'm going to get a promotion or have another child and I know I want something else. Do the renovations now. You can refinance, roll the money in. We're going to use the equity that you have, but also the equity you're creating once the repairs are done, because we're appraising it subject to completion of that project. And that's what we're using for value.
Wonderful. And are there two appraisals or just one appraisal and one closing, or how does that work?
The appraisals really depend on the product. So there is a product where, and depending on how you're financing things, you might need two appraisals. So you might need one based on the value today and the value when it's done. But most of them is just one appraisal. And it's the same appraiser. So it's not like we're calling two different appraisers and comparing apples to oranges because they are using different comparables or adjustments. It's one appraiser. They're just putting two values on it.
Okay. And is there a limitation? I know you're a national lender on every state. With regards to this product, is there a limitation on where you can do it, like the renovation in another state like Wisconsin or Texas or Iowa or something? Can you do this for them remote all across the country?
Yeah, I can do it anywhere. And, I'm licensed in a certain amount of states, but the company is licensed in all 50. So I have contacts in other states if somebody needs it somewhere else. So we can do this product on second homes. So say someone has a second home in Florida, investment properties, whatever the case may be. So they can do it on refinances or purchases. And I know second homes has been something people have really been looking at because they can work remote. So it's kind of nice to have the internet anywhere and be able to work. So I've seen an increase in that as well.
Wow. And you said investment properties too. Now that's something that you don't see very often. So somebody could take and improve an investment property through a renovation loan?
Yeah. And then,
Wow.
there's caveats to any of the programs. So,
Sure.
one of the things people have to remember is you can't do the work yourself. You have to hire a contractor, and we usually recommend a general contractor to oversee it all. You're allowed up to 3 contractors, but if you're doing plumbing and electrical, a new roof, flooring, I mean, you're over 3 contractors very, very quick. So it's much easier to have someone else general. They get discounts from their vendors, discounts on their materials, whereas you may not get those discounts if you try to do it yourself. So sometimes, people are trying to save the general contractor fee, and it's that penny wise, dollar foolish type of thing. And you got to put a value on your own time too. So, and stress, peace of mind, keep your marriage together, everybody happy. So, there are certain circumstances where we can get an exception if someone's in the trades to do that specific thing. So if you're an electrician, you can do the electrical work. But if you're an electrician, you can't do the plumbing, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, I've been a general contractor myself for my own projects, and I can attest to that the penny wise pound foolish, or however that saying goes. Oh my gosh, a sleepless night. I never have a sleepless night, but I did and do when I try to general something. So not
Yes,
worth it.
I get that.
So for sure. And you have a background too in construction, I believe. Is that correct, Karli? So you're not just like a, I'm gonna call what I call some of the competition that you have are rate quoting monkeys. You you're not that at all. I mean, you've done hundreds and maybe probably thousands of loans, and then you have a construction background that you could share with people. So if you have that discussion, it's not like you don't like I don't know. It's like you do know because you've done it. I mean, just speak a little bit to your own experience.
Yeah, so I, whether I wanted to or not, I helped do expediting, scheduling, bidding for my husband when he was a general contractor. So I got to learn a lot of the lingo, how contractors work, and they work different than a lot of people. They don't love paperwork, so they need hand holding through this process. And so I'll help with that part of the process with them as well. I also can swing a hammer. I've done laid flooring in our house. In fact, we just got done with, well over 1,000 square feet of vinyl plank flooring. So I can do those things. I understand a lot of it. Do I have the same vision and background as my husband? Absolutely not. But I do know all the stages of construction from beginning to end, and same with remodeling. I've done way more projects than I care to count. So
Right.
definitely can
Yeah.
help.
And that's huge because people oftentimes this is their first one and they don't know. And you can provide, besides the loan guidance on the overall project. Not that you're going to take on that duty, but you can have that conversation and be part of it. So you're a big value add, I guess, is what I'm trying to say in that process. So,
Yes.
well, wonderful. Well, Karli, if somebody's watching this anywhere in the United States, they should reach out to you. You'll review options with them, and if you can help them, you will, I'm sure, or refer them if you are unable. But it sounds like you can help pretty much almost everybody anywhere. And for buyers that are looking to get pre-approved, uh, if you think that this looks like something that's attractive, using and utilizing renovation, you have a one-stop option here. You don't have to find different lenders. And if you're working with some of the other smaller brokers or even some of the very large box banks that you might be very familiar with their names, they're not involved in this type of product, but the product exists. And so you're missing out on having this option. And I see it way too often that people have no idea and they're not pre-approved under that format. They don't want to switch their mortgage person. And that's not my purview. I don't, I can't do that, but I recommend that you learn all of your options up front and then make your selection accordingly to somebody that can give you the options that you might want to utilize. So Karli, can you tell us again, and I'm going to put this in the contact below the video, but tell everybody again how they can reach out to you.
Yeah, absolutely, John. So you can reach us at 651-888-8180, and that's talk and text. And you can also email us at teamspar@fairwaymc.com. So that's team, S like Sam, P like Peter, AHR @fairwaymc.com.
Awesome. Well, Karli, that's a lot of great information. I hope people give you a call. I highly endorse her. Like I say, I've worked with her many years and been very happy. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording and call Karli. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
You bet.